Good evening and welcome to Gamersledge Podcast, episode 282, Spider-Man. I think it'll be clear why we're going to be naming that this later. By the way, I don't know if it's hundreds or thousands of Spider-Man comics, so this might get a little geeky.
Lots of them.
Lots of them, yes, lots of them.
Box.
So, you've seen the boxes. There's several. Welcome. Come on in, sit down, have a beverage in a Spider-Man cup for, maybe not the best Spider-Man movie ever, but it does have one of the best costumes in a Spider-Man movie, so we'll give it that. It's also the only one I have a movie theater cup for, so. Gamersledge Podcast is a podcast dedicated to video games and geekery, all those things we enjoy and love in life and our entertainment. And it's a conversation among friends. We'll notice our panel is a little thin, as it was last week. We have some scheduling challenges with some of our formerly regular cast, and we're working to resolve those. Not exactly sure how or when or where or why or who, but seeing what we can do. Not that we are in any way, shape, or form unhappy to have Mitchell with us this evening.
Hi.
And I am, as you probably can't recognize me with my glasses on because I'm Clark Kenting here, but hi, I'm Matt. You may have heard of me if you've ever been here before. Maybe not. Yes, I am also wearing one of Mitchell and my favorite shirts, and again, honor of the club glasses. Yes, you can see these are real. They actually have a prescription.
Mine are real.
No, I know. But one of the things that drives me nuts, like in shows, which is when people wear glasses that don't have a prescription in them, because the character is supposed to have glasses, but the actress doesn't. And anytime you can't see the refraction in the glasses, that means one of two things. You either have a prescription that is so minimal that you basically don't need the glasses, or they're just not real. I do at least appreciate when they bother to put lenses in, because when you see scenes of people without lenses in the glasses to, keep from reflection issues, that drives me even more nuts. So clear plastic lenses versus no lenses are better, but yet it's still weird to see glasses that don't actually cause any refraction effect. I don't know why it's one of those weird things I get hung up on. It's more in TV shows than movies because you spend so much time with the characters that eventually it's just one of those things that
you
notices, and then it just bugs me every time. Alice currently in The Magicians, which sometimes she's wearing glasses, sometimes she's not wearing glasses. They keep changing the makeup and the look of the character, so I can't tell if that's on purpose or they're just trying to find the look for the person that works best for the show, or if they're just trying to mix up what they look like to keep it from becoming Scooby-Doo-ish, where everyone looks exactly the same all the time.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah. Welcome to the Gamersledge Podcast, or as we like to know it, Matt's griping about everything. So I guess we can go ahead and get started with, as we are oft wont to do, the things that we have been doing and consuming in our entertainment lives over the last week or so. Do you have something ready to go, Mitchell, or should I start out?
My list is pretty short.
And as a college student, that is appropriate.
Yep. I've been playing some more Hearts and Heroes. Haven't quite gotten through that yet. I've been keeping up on my Fire Emblem Heroes, Final Fantasy Record Keeper, Opera Omnia, the Tekken mobile game, and the new Sword Art Online game that they released for phone, Interval Fraction or something like that. SAOIF is what the game is abbreviated on the screen as for the little tiny app icon. But
and what type of game is that?
It's kind of like an action RPG format. So what you have is have like a little tiny digital stick that you can't actually, but it's touchscreen stick, and you've got a little attack button in your skills and a little circle around that you can tap to activate the skills. And it's very RPG, so like what you would expect, kind of. I'm wondering how well my phone can handle it at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. Because today it heated up fairly quickly while I was playing it, and it wasn't even plugged in, so the game is probably a bit beefy, so if you have an older phone with an older OS or something like that, it's probably not going to play as well.
Yeah, that can be challenging. Some of those games with the higher graphics, even on a newer phone, will burn up your battery and overheat real
But
fast.
the graphics kind of remind me of, if you remember the SAO game on the PS4.
Right.
The
Yeah.
graphic style is very reminiscent of that for me. Although it also has an MMORPG kind of feel to it, as you can see other players while you're running around, which kind of bugs me a bit. But I mean,
and you think they're real players, not bots?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're real players because they got like the stereotype. Some of them have like the stereotypical gamer tags with the X's and the numbers and the name and.
Interesting. So yeah, I've not played a game with that kind of control scheme that I've liked. The touchscreen analog stick tends to be
Touchy.
Yeah. not in the good way.
Oh my.
Take that as you will. But yeah, it's always interesting. They keep trying to do that. And I suppose as screens have gotten bigger, it's probably gets better because, when you had the 4-inch screens, that UI took up half your screen real estate. It felt like by the time you got your thumbs on there, you blocked so much of your screen, you couldn't see what you were doing. I do have a cold, everybody. So when I'm going on and off mute to address that, apologize if it clicks or anything. But you'll see me doing that quite a bit. As he coughs directly into his mic. Thanks.
I coughed away from the mic.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. So yeah. So if you had a chance
By
to
the way,
watch
one of my
anything?
friends says hi. Oh, did I?
Oh, something happened there. Oh dear. We may have lost Mitchell. Is he back? He moved.
Okay, I crashed and burned horribly.
Oh, well, you came back now.
Oh, I did it again.
No, yeah, well,
yes.
You seem to be here still. Crazy school networks. Can you hear me? Nope, now he's gone again. Either that or he's got that creepy grin. Oh, nope, there he's back moving again.
Okay. Are we all good? Are we good on both ends now?
I think so. Or I've been fine, I think. But
yeah, well, for me, you were going.
Oh dear. Speaking in tongues. Apparently, it didn't even know it. It's after Easter. Shouldn't be doing that anymore.
All right.
Accurate, but anyway, we were not going to get into that.
Yeah.
So you have a chance to watch anything over the last week or so?
Yes. Give me like 5. Oh, I watched season 2 of Miraculous. Nobody can judge me.
I don't even know what that is. So
it's a French-based question on that cartoon / anime. Generally designed for a slightly younger audience, but not quite. It's very episodic, but the episodes sort of semi-connect.
Okay.
So for each episode, they have a villain that they need to beat, and they beat that villain, which then sometimes will also reveal a small part of the story that builds into the larger arc of / plot of the story.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not quite sure why you're feeling like that should be a judgy. Is it just because it's kind of aimed at a younger crowd, or?
Yeah, that's kind of because I'm a college kid. I'm watching something that is probably directed more towards people Eve's age.
So. Dude, I was watching Power Rangers in space my first year in college because I needed anything that I could just, brain dump with. So it's actually one of the better Power Ranger series. Again, on the scale of Power Ranger series, it's one of the better ones I've seen. But
by the way, my friend says hi.
Hi, friend.
It was Snapchat, not on here.
Okay, I was like, nobody's watching according to my viewer account.
I told her we were doing this, although I didn't tell her the name of how we were doing it.
Well, go to the Gamersledge Facebook page where I posted the link for the URL for this video stream because I am not set up to do multi-stream like Mark is. So, and we're streaming, not our normal account either because YouTube hates us and life is horrible. So, if I could figure out how to do this through the PS4, I would. I totally lost my train of thought. Okay, so yeah, anything else you watched, or is that?
That's pretty much kind of been the extent of it. I've been trying to go to bed at more decent hours.
Understand that. Well, I will correct you on one item because it's also on my list.
Oh yes,
You watched something for the first time.
yeah, I watched. Aliens. Yes.
Not Aliens.
Well,
Alien.
Alien.
Yes, the first
Yes,
one.
Alien, the first one, and I also watched Ready Player One over the weekend.
That's yeah. So, thoughts on either of those? Non-spoilery. I mean, granted, the one's been
Alien
around since
was good. I
1979.
mean, I don't know exactly. Well, yeah, Alien was good. I mean, it was my first time seeing a movie of that style, really, the suspense horror genre.
Right. Did you find it suspenseful, even though you knew what a xenomorph was? You
Right.
kind of knew the general idea of the movie.
I found it suspenseful. Like the tension was always kind of there, which is, I mean, the sort of atmosphere that those kinds of movies go for. So I think that was really well done. Even with having some background knowledge about what was happening and what was going down. The
I
effects
found
of
it I found it interesting that you didn't know Ripley was the main character. Like you didn't pick up on that like till later.
well,
It's
I
like
picked up on it as soon as she started trying to boss people around, kind of, and like after they got back, kind of, is where I started picking up on that.
right, but I'm just like leading into it, you're talking about it as we're watching it
Yeah.
as you are wont to do with movies.
Yeah.
And just the fact that you didn't know, that you didn't realize that she's like the connective item between most of the movies. It was like at one point you had her dying like third or something in the movie. It's like
No, I said that she
yeah,
was going to be like
no,
either second to last or last. I'm pretty sure I always
you
had it ranked towards the end.
you yeah, maybe I'm mixing that up with something else.
You were probably confusing me with the captain, which I won't say anything about, but
Yeah. No, okay. You did say that. I do remember you saying that at some point. Yeah, but like yeah, no, she's not gonna die. So spoiler alert for a 30 odd year old movie.
yeah.
Um
Spoiler: everyone dies, except for one.
almost.
Almost everyone dies.
Yes.
No, there's two characters that survive. Two.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you could say that.
Let them figure it out.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, and Ready Player One.
I really like that movie. I've been hearing some people kind of dashing it for just because it's a giant geek montage doesn't make it good, but it's for me it was more than that. So I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. So that's all I gotta say.
Okay. I have not read the book.
Anything away.
I have not read the book. I have not seen the movie, so I have no framework to talk about it. So
yeah, I should also commentate that I haven't read the book. So, and I'm one that can kind of get hung up on some of those kinds of things between book and movie differences. So in terms of that, I don't really know.
Right.
Generally, I try to read the book first, but
yeah, that's why to this day
this one just kind of snuck up on me, and I just watched the movie because it just happened to happen.
Yeah, and the book's older. I mean, it's not like a really new book. But yeah, that's how I appreciate what Jurassic Park did special effects wise and stuff, but I still can't enjoy the movie as much as a lot of my peers do.
Right.
Because I read the book and I loved the book, and they messed so many of the things up in the movie. But yeah, your sister's got a big hang up with that too. I've come to find out. Apparently she can't read a book if she's seen the movie, and she can't see the movie if she's read the book. So that
so she won't read the. So then she wouldn't want to read the Guardians of Gahul books, or?
Well, that might be different enough, but I don't know. I haven't tried to push that one. We were trying to find books for her to read while she's waiting for her next book in her series to come out.
And what book was she having a particular hang up with? Percy Jackson, or?
Yes, that's one series she won't touch because I'm like, but there's way more books and they didn't really line up very well. So
they didn't line up. I'm going to go on a rant. Nope, nope. We're not going on a Mitchell rant.
Sea of Monsters lined up way better than Lightning Thief did, but
slightly.
Still, yeah. I mean, they had to kind of recoup from all the weird stuff they did with Lightning Thief. So anyway, yeah, I know.
Those movies annoy me.
Well, I guess luckily for you, they didn't make any more after 2. So
They can keep it as their own AU, I guess.
yeah. Now, somebody might come down the road in another 20 years and remake it, and it'll be glorious, and you'll get
Oh,
to
that'd be good.
live it again. But
Oh, that's a lot of movies, though. That's a lot.
well, just sticking with the original, just the original
Yeah.
sequence. I mean, that's what, 6 books?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if
6?
someone could pull off Kane Chronicles, since that's only the 3 books. It's a bit shorter. And I think the special effects could be a bit more manageable than some of the Percy Jackson stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're always advancing in that area, you know.
Mhm.
So, especially as they get really good at mixing practical and CG, you know. I think that's the real key to it. You know, watching something like Alien and seeing all the practical effects, and it's not a bad looking movie. I mean,
No,
even by
I
today's
actually
standards.
like the practical effects because it blended in well. Though you got to wonder if they hired a contortionist for that alien, because some of the positions that thing called into, I know I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know much about the guy who was actually in the suit. So, other than the suit was uncomfortable as all get out. Surprise, surprise.
I can imagine like having off your head.
Yeah, that headpiece had to be ridiculous. Okay, so let's see what I've been up to. The only game that I've really played has been Wolfenstein 2. Trying to work through that. The more I play it, it's such a mixed thing. It is such a gloriously bizarre and off the wall thing, and then it just can turn and become the most frustrating thing in the universe. There have been sequences that are just unnecessarily frustrating. You know, I mean, I get it. I'm not against games pushing back.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's just a little too ridiculous. You know, it's like it should be achievable without doing something ridiculous. And the times where it works, I can't tell you what I did significantly different from the times it didn't work. That's the most frustrating thing. If I could see, okay, I see what I did wrong there. I understand what I'm doing, which is what all the people always tell me about the Dark Souls, Bloodborne games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you always know what you did wrong. Okay,
to a certain
maybe
extent.
But yeah, this is just like one time I'll do this and everything goes this way, and one time I'll do it and it'll go all sideways from the get go. It's just I don't know.
Did you ever get the pupper back?
Did I ever get the pupper back? No.
Aww.
No.
Sadness. Okay.
Yeah, you think he'd find a way, but maybe he'll show up again later. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see.
So then from the free games with Plus for April, I tried out In Space We Brawl, which I immediately deleted. Qbert Rebooted, which I did not immediately delete. It's got 2 parts to it. One part is the old classic arcade game, which the stick controls are a little weird for. It's not quite as responsive as I would hope for. So I'm not sure that that's really going to be much of a thing. And you can't use the D-pad. At least I couldn't figure out how to make the D-pad work. And then the other part of the game is the rebooted part, which is a set up like a mobile style game where you've got levels to go through and there's goals to accomplish. You know, so it's not a full pyramid where you got to change all the colors. It's
right.
You know, different goals and 3 stars and all that jazz. Played a couple of those. They're fun-ish. I'll probably leave it in that folder with all those other little games that I play from time to time. The folder's name is actually Little Games. So we'll see. Oh dear. I don't know if he's laughing at me. I don't know what he's laughing at me about. Oh, I know what he's laughing at me about. Never mind. We'll get to what he's laughing. Ian's laughing at me about something. Okay. So one second. Sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time.
So while my dad tries to figure out whatever he's doing, I'm just going to talk about stuff in general. Hey, Hearts and Heroes, play it, download it, get it from Markiplier, do it now, off his video.
Buy now, right now. Spy all day. Yes. Okay. So I left Qbert rebooted on. I tried the Nate game, and now the post for last week kind of lied. All of these I played on PS4. It did not identify all these as being PS4 compatible on the or cross buy on the blog post. But they actually were. So
Ah, that's
somebody,
good.
whoever posted that for PlayStation, didn't do their research very well. Um, Another one I played is called 99 Vidas, which translates to 99 lives. You don't, in fact, as a PSA, have 99 lives. The first thing you do is the character goes, I've got plenty of lives. And then it zooms into your life count and it's only at 5. And then you immediately get a trophy says the game's title is a lie. So
is it a hard game then, or
it's kind of hard. It's a side-scrolling brawler, so in the styles of an old Double Dragon or Streets of Rage or something like that. I think it's based on a property. The way this plays is it's like part of a larger property. I don't know, I didn't do any research on it, but the way it plays out is it seems like it's part of a larger property. But it's a side-scrolling brawler. It does have a 99 count on it, which I figured meant that you had to defeat 99 enemies before you could finish the level, but that's not the way it worked out. I got to the boss before the 99 count got all the way down. The boss was ridiculously unfair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The controls...
Like Mighty Number 9 unfair, or...
No, well, yeah, kind of. I don't know. It was weird.
I got to one of the bosses. I had a tactic that was working and winning, and the game crashed me.
Yeah,
I
know.
We don't like you winning. We're just gonna be like, no.
Yeah, I didn't know Yuri was what was the Mighty Number 9? What's his name? I forget the robot's name. The robot's you're playing. Brett.
No.
Something like that. Anyway, it starts with a B, I'm pretty sure.
Bass. No.
No, not Bass. Bass is something
else. It's close to that.
It is close to that. But anyway, I didn't know Yuri did that, which is kind of depressing because he's normally a good...
that character's probably the best voice in there.
It's true. It is true. But the script is just not good to start with, so you can only do so much. But and you'll understand that later when we're talking about stuff because we were talking before the show, so that makes no sense to the rest of you. Sorry about that. So that was okay. It's not easy, but it's not hard. There's lots of times your life gets low, but then you'll go to the next segment and punch a box and you'll get a turkey, which fills your life bar up all the way. You have special powers, so you're charging a power bar, and then you hit the circle button, and you do a elemental attack depending on which character you're playing as. Beck. So you do. So it's interesting. Then at the end of a level, you use the coins you collected during the level to power up your attacks. So you've got your square, and your square, triangle, and so those different ones you power up to have different. Like the character I was playing was the ice character. So you powered up your combo so that at the end you froze the enemy and they fell over. So it gave you some time to regroup or, do some AoE control.
Right.
I didn't figure out all the controls. I kept on accidentally doing stuff. So it's not, I'm not going to say it's a great game, but it wasn't bad. It was good enough that I left. I didn't immediately delete it. Let's put it that way. It may get deleted later. Then I also played Trackmania Turbo. And when I say played, I tried to get all 3 bronze, silver, and gold medals on the first track, and I could not get the gold medal. I don't know how that thing goes around that S-curve that quickly, but I can't seem to do it. So I don't know if it's something where later in the game I'll upgrade my car that gets better traction or something or what. But yeah, it's fun enough. It looks good. It's basically kind of what if you could have a Hot Wheels track as a real racetrack kind of thing. Like you get dropped from the air onto a ramp and then take off into this track and do these ridiculous jumps and stuff. So it looks great, plays well. And I'll probably, throw it in that little games folder and play it from time to time again. The big game, obviously, of this was Mad Max. I did not try to dig into that, and I still haven't dug into Bloodborne from last month either. So, and then we get on to the watching stuff. Still watching The Magicians, very slowly. Almost to the end of season 1. I think I'm on episode 12. It's a 13 episode season. I think I've got it figured out, but we'll have to wait another couple episodes and see. And I I'm not going to go on that rant, but all of the unnecessary substance use, that all these things to think that they need. So, yay.
Gotta create those subplots, man.
Yeah. Series of Unfortunate Events season 2 dropped. This is not really a spoiler, but they pick up where they left off exactly. And one of the characters are like, feels like we've been sitting here for months. We've been here so long that Sonny looks more like a toddler than a baby. And they using the same child that played Sonny the baby in season 1, and it is several months later for her. She is basically a toddler now. So they kept the same kid, which is admirable. But yeah, there's some interesting references to the fact that, there's been a time passage, and because they're kids, you can tell there has been a time passage. Neil Patrick Harris continues to be amazing as Count Olaf. The kids surprisingly hold up well. They're still, at least in the first couple of episodes, there's still plenty of Lemony Snicket, whose name is Patrick Warburton. So you've got that voice.
Is that voice the pilot from Skylanders?
Yes. He plays the pilot from Skylanders. He's done a ton of stuff. But if you hear the voice, that sounds like this. Okay, that's not even a very good impersonation.
No, it wasn't really.
But yeah, you know that voice when you hear it, right? There's like nobody else that does that voice. He does the one car rental. Is it Enterprise? Anyway, he does one of the car rental commercials too. It's like, it's just that voice. When you hear that voice, you know it. It's him. Yeah, so they've done a good job. I've only gotten the first 2 episodes, so that's another book, right? So the first 2 episodes done, one more book down.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep on with that and see how that goes. Your sister finished it in like a day. Kids and all their time to watch stuff.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finally caught up. Holy buckets.
I need to catch up.
Episode 100. Did all that kind of episode 100-y stuff, but still maintained a good episode. Lots of times those episodes that celebrate massive episode numbers tend to be kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
This one did not do that, and still managed to do some of the episode 100-y kind of stuff that you would expect from a series. And then the follow-on episodes. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say this, but Ian DeCasticker, or however you pronounce his name, I should learn, since he's like my favorite character from the show, continues to kill it in that series.
Coulson?
No, that's Fitz.
Oh, I like Fitz.
The things they throw at him to do in this show, from being essentially a stroke victim to just being socially awkward, which if you ever look at any of the social media pictures on, I don't think he's acting on that part. I think he's socially awkward because he never looks happy in any of those press photos ever. It's like, it hurts him to smile. And he's not like with the group. I swear he just doesn't, it strike me as, it's probably a great guy, but does not really, he's not like Ming-Na or Chloe Bennett or Clark Gregg, who is Coulson, who are out there, just constantly talking with the community and, pushing stuff and always smiling in photo ops and stuff. But, so yeah, they, as we kind of wondered at the beginning of this, they've kind of painted themselves into a corner, but not so much anymore. They've kind of shown the ways out of it that I thought they would. It'll still be interesting to see where it goes, because I don't think it's by any shape or it's not a straight line with this show ever. And even when they do something expected, they somehow manage to still surprise me with stuff. But yeah, hats off to Ian there, because he is just killing it with Fitz and the entire crew. I mean, they're all really doing really, really well, as they have been constantly. And they always say whenever you get interviews with one of them, they always say that they love this job and they love the crew, and I think that's true, because you can just kind of tell, right? There's that intangible element to a show where when a crew really clicks, that it just comes through without you can't help but come through. And I think that's true in this show. People that still hate it because of the first few episodes from season 1 that they couldn't deal with, I really wish you would give the show a chance, because it really is good.
They really do have a nice group aesthetic to them, how they seem like they interact with each other, and even with the way their characters interact with each other, you can just tell that they all kind of get along pretty well, probably even off backstage. And you gotta wonder if they're the kind of crew who will like stay in character even after the scene is over, just to mess around to a certain extent.
I would bet they do off-scene stuff in character, but and they've just been, most of them have been working together for so long. They just, they can nail the timing. They know how the one person's going to deliver a line. They know the character. They know how that character is going to respond. I can never remember the name of the guy that plays Mac, but he just gets so many, kind of one-liner things. It's just.
I mean, at this point, I'd almost want to argue that the actors probably know the characters better than the writers themselves to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, with something like this, that almost always happens.
Yeah, especially for something that's been running this long.
Yeah, I mean, Clark Gregg has been playing that character since Iron Man. Yeah. I mean, he knows Coulson. He knows Coulson better than anyone could possibly know Coulson.
Right.
So it's just a really good show, and I really enjoy it. And then they've been teasing the whole "this might be the final season" thing. So I don't know if that's all smoke and mirrors, or if there's. I mean, I think the ratings issue is probably always, it doesn't pull in huge numbers. It pulls in decent numbers, but it's never pulled in Marvel movie level numbers. So
yeah.
I think that's always been kind of a risk for it. I think Disney and ABC, being a single company, I think that's helped it, go along, that they've wanted to keep it going regardless of what the ratings look like.
Right.
And we know Coulson's coming back for Captain Marvel, the movie, because it's set in the 90s. So, so there's still some stuff going on there. So we'll have to see. I don't know.
Yep.
Hopefully it'll come around. Anyway, I spent way too long talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Actually, I didn't, because I love that show and I don't care. And yes, you need to catch up. Dang it. So.
Yeah.
So other thing I watched over.
Do we still have View or no?
No, that's expired.
Okay.
They are on the DVR though, so
cool.
Next time you're home.
Next time around.
So over the break, it's a tradition that the kids get movies during the Easter season, and 2 of the movies got watched, and that was A Dog's Purpose and Coco. Coco, I think visually looks amazing. I don't think there was anything wrong with Coco. I just didn't click super well with it. I mean, it's not that I disliked it. It didn't do anything to me that drew me in super well.
Right.
It was telegraphed pretty hard.
Was the soundtrack decent?
Yeah, the songs were good. The voice acting was fine. The animation's amazing, and that's just watching it in standard def. I can't imagine 4K HDR.
Right. Don't die.
Yeah, not dying, just getting over a cold.
Losing a lung potentially.
Yes. And then A Dog's Purpose, which brutal on the emotions. Even for me, I tend to not get too broken up over movies, but yeah, that movie, if you don't get a little choked up or something, there's probably something wrong with you. But yeah,
we'll have to see if there's something wrong with me then.
Yeah, probably.
But I tend to be pretty solid on those kinds of things.
Yeah, well, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house at
So is
least-
that do we have that on the service like Valerian too, or
yes.
cool?
And that's the other movie was Valerian. Didn't get around to watching that one yet, so nothing to say on that one. But yeah, A Dog's Purpose, great movie. But yes, I mean, if you don't know, the premise of the movie is following the soul of a dog through multiple lives. So yes, the dog is going to die. At least
But
one
yes,
of them.
it comes
That's
back.
Well, yes, it comes back. Yes, kind of like the cat from the song. The dog comes back.
And the cat came back.
And then the other thing I did last night, grab time to watch the Legion season 2 premiere. It was a slightly longer than normal episode. Unfortunately, I didn't like it as well as the stuff I liked from season 1. It has some good setup and some good potential there. I can't say exactly what it was about it that didn't quite jive with me as well as the stuff from season 1. Might have been my expectation level was a little too high. Might be they were trying a little too hard. I think they tried extra hard to make everything completely not understandable like they did in season 1, but maybe they were trying a little too hard to throw too much misinformation in. I don't know. I couldn't quite peg it. Maybe it's because I'm sick. That could have been part of it too. I don't know. Not enough to dissuade me from watching more, but again, that's another one of those things where after season 1 got done, I'm kind of like, how do you follow that up without feeling stale? Like you did that all in season 1,
or like you're just pulling out of the same trick, right?
Yeah. How do you keep it without feeling like you're just retreading what you've already done? And they've set up some interesting subplots or some plot points. A hallmark of season 1 is you really didn't know. It's kind of like Setsuna,
Okay.
in thing you don't know. Senua. Why do I keep doing that? I always do that. Who's Setsuna?
I am Satsuna.
Oh yeah,
Chrono Trigger game.
Right. Senua. I always get those. I don't know why I do that. Anyway,
Just a
Hellblade.
similar name.
I should just call it Hellblade. Where you don't always really know what's real and what isn't.
So it's the show from Legion's perspective then, or?
It's third person. You primarily follow Legion.
Okay.
I would say everything you're seeing is how David sees it.
Okay.
Because there's just totally contradictory things. You've got people that are all driving around like 50s cars and have 50s hairs and clothes styles, but have like super fancy techno tablets. So there's all kinds of contradictory stuff in the series that maintains that there's just contradictory stuff. It makes it feel very unreal and like anything of this, like there was a hardcore theory, and this could still pan out in the end, that the entirety of season 1 was all in David's head. It's not the way they played it, not the way they seem to be playing it, but you could.
So it's all very surreal, you could say.
Yeah, it's very surreal. We know some of it's in his head. We know some of it's real. We know that's really all we know. I mean, we think we know. I mean, it could all just be a fever dream. I mean, it's.
With someone like Legion, it's kind of hard to tell.
It's true.
If you don't know who Legion is a super strong telepath, like very, very strong telepath who anybody's mind he reads, he incorporates a new personality, correct?
In the comics, yes, that is true. We're not exactly sure how David's powers exactly work in the show. They're very vague about that intentionally, I think. It
kind of be a headache to explain.
Yeah, he definitely is.
DID
suffers from multiple personality disorder. He definitely has episodes of psychosis and dissociative disorder. He's been hospitalized for stuff. On top of being, one of the most powerful psychic mutants on the planet. It is still an X-Men property. The show's on FX. I believe season 1 is streamable from somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
Is it Netflix or Hulu?
That's why I said I'm not sure where.
I don't think I've seen it on Netflix. And I feel like that would pop up in my feed.
Yeah, I don't think it's there either. It might be in like an FX's actual app or something. I'll see if I can fact check that later. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But season 1's great. It's completely absurd and it's glorious in its absurdness. Season 2, I'm just having first episode didn't grab me. We'll have to see where it goes. It's earned enough credit for me to stick with it for now. So wow, that took a lot longer than I thought.
Okay, it is on Hulu.
Legion
is on Hulu.
The whole season, or
I would assume so. It looks like it, or at least up to chapter 8, which is, I don't know if that's where the season ends or not.
I think that might have been it. It was a very short season. I don't remember if it was only 8 episodes or not, but it was a very short season.
Okay.
So anyway,
Gotta deal with ads.
Yes, ads always. Anything else you wanted to talk about before we go to the news? Because I don't have a discussion topic ready for today, other than our first bit of news that we're going to talk about, which is what the show is named after.
I don't think I have anything. I've been relatively busy-ish. But yeah, I don't think I have anything, so you can go.
Okay, so because I'm horrible like this, I am
Googling it right
now. Well, I'm Googling Legion to see how many episodes season 1 was. Episode 1 was in fact 8 episodes, or season 1 was in fact 8 episodes.
Yes, episode 1 was 8 episodes.
Yes, episode 1 was 8 episodes. So
all right. So
yeah, and it looks like another 9, 8, 16, 17. So another 9 episodes for season 2 is what we have to look forward to.
Chapter 9.
All right. So today, or yesterday actually, which would have been Tuesday, the 3rd of April, Game Informer announced its cover story for this month's cover, and it is none other than Insomniac's Spider-Man game, a game we have been very excited for. A lot of questions running around about. We've known about it for a bit now from E3 and PlayStation Experience. Haven't learned a lot of new stuff about it till now.
Yay!
Now we know more. I do not have a current Game Informer subscription, so I have not read the cover article. The one time that, I let something slide and then, something awesome happens. The first bit of news that comes with Spider-Man, the Spider-Man cover story, is the release date, which is September 7th.
This year?
This year, yes, September 7th of this year. So that's a bit out, but it's interesting. It's after the summer rush, but before the fall winter rush. So they're kind of sneaking it in there, hoping to hit
a niche sale place.
Yeah. The thing is it could, I think, compete with pretty much anything out there, especially on the PS4 space. This is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, developed by Insomniac Games. Insomniac tends to only do exclusive stuff. They don't really like multi-platform development very much. So they're back on PlayStation. They're back on PlayStation. Despite all the misinformation out there, no, they are the ones that pitched the game to Sony and Marvel. They wanted to do a Spider-Man game. This isn't anything to do with Sony owning the movie rights. The movie rights and the game rights are completely separate. This is Insomniac wanted to do a Spider-Man game, and they pitched it out.
So is this going to be alternate universe then, or same universe, or?
This is an alternate universe. You're playing Peter Parker at an age of about 23, which they keep on saying an older Peter Parker. I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake, 23 is not old. Jeez Louise.
Well, it's older than the high school Peter Parker that most people are.
Right.
No.
You've got me in the comics where Peter Parker is early mid 30s right now, right? So that to me, that's the older Peter Parker.
Yeah. So we got Parker. So in this game, do we have Parker core or? Parker Corp or?
Oh no, not so far. No, he's pretty sure he's still working for the. We don't know a lot of details yet.
Right.
To Parker Industries is what you're referring to.
Sorry.
The statue that comes with the collector's edition, they've hidden the building that he's on, so it's possible it's Parker Industries or Horizon. Horizon's the company that he worked for prior to starting Parker Industries, which all happened under his time, where Doc Ock was inhabiting Peter Parker's body as the Superior Spider-Man in the comics. This would, at 23, this would be well before that sequence of events happens normally. But again, this is a completely independent universe. The White Spider, which is much more like the Venom Spider than the traditional Spider-Man suit spider, is kind of the symbolic of that separation, right? That this is a different Spider-Man.
Universe number?
Universe number? I don't know. Somebody will give it a universe number, I assume. It is an open world game in the way that most of the PS2
generation,
3, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Ultimate Spider-Man. I guess those were all PlayStation 2.
Well, the only one I think for PS3 was Shattered.
Well, there was the one after Shattered Dimensions. Can't think of what it was, but it wasn't very good.
Wasn't it a sequel?
No, it was. Well, there was Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2. And those were kind of open world-ish, I think.
Yeah, I think those were all PS2 though.
No, those were PS3. I'm pretty sure, but we didn't get them because they didn't review very well. So.
Oh no, we had. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We have one of them, I think.
Maybe I think
we have one of them.
I've been disappointed by most of them after Ultimate Spider-Man, and I never even finished Ultimate Spider-Man, and I really like that one. But let's see, what else can we talk about here? They released the voice actor who was working on as Peter Parker. Many people recognize the voice from the
English dub
of Naruto. And that is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get his name up because I can never say it right, and it helps me if I look at it.
Yuri Lowenthal.
Yes, thank you, Yuri Lowenthal. Apparently a lifelong dream of his to play Spider-Man, which I thought he had played Spider-Man in something before, but maybe I'm wrong, or this is just a much bigger thing. Yuri's obviously older than 23, but he has a history of playing younger characters than he actually is. Dude has like 550 credits to him, so this is not some off the street person. Yeah, he does a lot of those credits are additional voices, extra characters, stuff like that, but he has done a lot of work in the industry, and he's done some major roles in anime and video games. So he is a big geek at heart. He is a big goofball. I think he's a very good match. He did do Ben Tennyson in Ben 10 and Ben 10 Omniverse or Alien, whatever the second one was. What was the second one? Was that Omniverse or was that?
Yeah, he did Omniverse. Well, no, he did. Yeah, he did Omniverse.
And then
what is known for all filmography. As an actor, he has 588. As a writer, he has 14. As a producer, 13 credits. And as miscellaneous crew, he has 12. And he's actually directed 2 things and has been an assistant director in one thing.
Cool. But, we talked a lot about voicing Peter and Spider-Man and how you have to make the voice similar, but a little bit different between the 2 roles. So that was, so if you didn't recognize Sasuke's voice right away, shame on you. I didn't, but it was one of the people I thought it might be.
For Ruby, he does Mercury, which is interesting if you follow Ruby. He actually did Spider-Man for 2 episodes of the 2017 series.
He did Spider-Man, or he actually did?
Oh, he did Lizard, Kurt Connors, radio announcer, and Clayton Cole in Clash.
Okay, yeah.
Not Spider-Man, but actually they actually have IMDb updated for this. He's Spider-Man PS4 2018 video game Peter Parker Spider-Man voice.
Yep. So, but I mean, he's a very talented voice actor. I know if you haven't heard of him before, is 588. I was low on the credit count there. Dude's experience. He's been doing this since 1989. So
Okay, so that's where I recognized him from. He did Marth's voice for some stuff for Fire Emblem.
yep. He did
Oh, he
a male Corrin too in one of the games.
I did a Merc. Just seeing if there's anything like big animes that I've seen. There's not really showing a whole lot of that right now, but he did Back for Mighty Number 9. Sasuke. Do 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 do. But yeah, he's done a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot. Like I've been scrolling for a while here, as you all know, and the bar hasn't moved all that much.
Yeah, so prolific.
Yes, very.
So then there's also on Game Informer, there's a video I recommend you watch. It's 114 rapid fire questions about Spider-Man. Leo Vader, which I still wonder if that's really his last name or not. One of the folks, if you listen to the podcast, you'll recognize as he's the guy in the booth usually doing a rapid fire question with, I forgot his name, the director, Brian Inthalar.
So you did get it right. He did play Spider-Man's voice for Spider-Man Unlimited, which was a 2014 video game.
Wonder what that was. Maybe it was like a app game or something. We'll have to look that up at some point and figure out what that was. But anyway, he's loving it, and we should be very excited that he's a part of the game. Now we don't know who any of the other voice actors are yet. I don't think so. They'll see if that's more of the stuff that they release. Since this is the cover article, they'll be doing new articles every day all month, so there'll be tons of stuff released as they go on. In the 114 rapid fire questions that they do with the director, they ask a bunch of goofy stuff, but some serious stuff too. There are no microtransactions. There are a ton of costumes. Most of them are crafting things you do in the game. So you'll craft costumes. Costumes are not just costumes. They're actually alternate characters, so you gain an additional ability from different suits. So like the normal suit has a damage bonus. Punk Rock Spider-Man from the Punk Spider-Man universe has a AoE guitar attack. We've seen Noir Spider-Man as one of the options too. We don't know what his ability is yet. Presumably there will also be female spider characters, I would assume. I could only assume that with the popularity of Gwen, Spider-Gwen, that she'll be an option. Possibly some of the classic Spider-Women characters. What they would do with that voice-wise could be interesting if they alternate voice or if they just leave it with Yuri's voice. That could be interesting. I said there's no microtransactions. They're very cagey about what villains are or are not in the game. Do not want to spoil anything. There's the webs do attach to buildings, so it's not web to the sky. You're not just attaching webs to the sky somewhere. They actually latch onto buildings. There are points where you can see where you can land on a building and use it either as a leaping point or you can just perch. So yeah, it's supposed to be, it's one of those easy to play, difficult to master with the traversal. But it is open world, so there will be encounter missions, just like most of the Spider-Man games that we've seen since the PS2 era.
My balloon!
There are no balloons. That question was asked. There are no balloons, and you will deliver no pizza. Those are two things that they did confirm in the interview. There are no red balloons or balloons of any color, and there is no delivering pizza in this game. So,
so pretty much, if you've seen or played any game or watched anything with animation, odds are you've probably heard Yuri Lowenfeld's voice.
Yes, I think the word we used. I think the word we used was prolific. I think that's pretty much a true up.
He was in Odin's sphere.
He's been doing this
prolific.
forever.
Yes, I said I think his earliest credit is 89. If I scrolled all the way to the bottom earlier today, and I believe the earliest credit was 89.
1989.
Now there's some jumps
2006.
there into the mid 2000s, but there's some significant jumps. But
And then 1991. Yeah, it's okay. He has a very large number of credits to it.
that's the big stuff with the Spider-Man game. Obviously, we'll try to rebroadcast stuff for folks, but obviously if you keep an eye on Gamer Informers, not Gamersledge, Game Informers webpage, they will be releasing stuff all month, new videos, new information.
So just keep an ear to the ground.
Keep an ear to the ground. You can go out to, if you go to PlayStation's page for the game, they've got some really nice screen backgrounds and stuff that you can get. So
mine isn't Spider-Man, but it's still something that I'm looking forward to.
Well, go ahead. What is it?
The World Ends With You, the final remix that's coming out for the Switch eventually at some point.
Nice. So then here comes the big game confession for Spider-Man. Well, what expectations, before I go to that, what expectations do you have for Spider-Man, for the game? I mean, assuming you're looking forward to it.
Right, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. One thing I'm expecting kind of is, to an extent, I'm expecting kind of what they did with the PS2 ones, because I played a bit of those for a while. I'm kind of expecting what they did with those control-wise, except probably to be more refined, better graphics, probably more plot to it than those ones, because if I remember correctly, their plot was fairly limited, but I don't really know. I don't remember all that well because it was a long time ago. But
the ones that were aligned with the Tobey Maguire movies were a little rough because they sort of followed the plot line of the movie, but not really.
Right. Yeah. I think Ultimate was probably the one that's the one where you get to play Venom, right?
Yeah, that's the one where you play as Peter Parker and as Venom. It had an original story based in the Ultimate Universe, so it was the best story-wise.
Yeah, that's the one I think I also had the most experience with. But that's kind of what I expect from it, is something similar to that, just with updated graphics, updated controls, probably more story-driven. But I think it's going to be a really in-depth world is what we're going to see, kind of, is a very lively and interactive world.
So Insomniac are largely known for two action-adventure series, the Spyro and the Ratchet and Clank games. They do have Sunset Overdrive, which was
racing game, right?
was kind of, not really. It was kind of Ratchet-esque, right? You had a guy in an open world city with a gun who was fighting aliens attacking, I think. I don't know an Xbox, so I never played it.
Yeah.
That was an Xbox exclusive. They tried they did the dadgummit, Resistance games. So they've dabbled in shooters.
Resistance is good.
What was that one that Fuse? That one failed pretty hard. They don't have a lot of failures in their catalog, but they have a few.
They weren't in charge of the new Ratchet and Clank game, were they?
The new one, yeah. The game based on the movie, based on the game, yeah. That was theirs.
Okay.
That was the main studio. I'm not sure that the East Coast studio, I don't know if they're still up, and if they are, what they're doing. I'm not sure. They did those couple of off-center Ratchet and Clank games, which kind of failed to land.
You talking about like Agent Clank and
no. Well, no, those were a completely different studio. Those weren't. I can't even think of the name of the studio right now. They did the All for One and the the kind of arena shooter one, not Deadlock, but the one. Yeah, I can't think of.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Full frontal.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Or something like that.
That sounds right.
All Ratchet and Clank titles must be a double entendre at least. Mm-hmm. It's required by law. And so what do you think in that experience? What do you think with the stuff they've done before? What are you expecting that they'll bring from that into a Spider-Man? Like for me, one of the things I'm expecting is the humor from the Ratchet and Clank games. I think that's going to transition very naturally to a Spider-Man game.
I think since they have some experience with ranged combat with like Ratchet and Clank and Resistance, that I would expect a good aiming system for the web shooters if when they're involved in combat. If you have to play that way, I would expect them to kind of play it closer to like Ratchet and Clank or something like that than Resistance, using that style, just because that's a bit easier for them to probably handle having to jump between the range combat and melee that you would expect from Spider-Man. It'd be interesting to see if they try and incorporate like a kind of weapon wheel for like different types of webs. Like if you've seen
there is a weapon
Homecoming.
There is some sort of weapon or gadget wheel that was in the interview.
So that'd be kind of interesting to see how they implement that system from like Ratchet and Clank that they use with the circles and stuff like that. I hope they freeze time when they use that wheel.
That has been one of that I think you were there when I was cussing that out, but that was one of the things that's really been frustrating me in the later levels of Wolfenstein 2 is that time does not stop when you're changing weapons. That I'm okay, I get it, the realism or whatever of it, but that's frustrating. Doesn't even slow down, just but yeah, no, so the combat has been described to a degree so far as a very fluid transition from melee to range to gadgets that you can it's very intuitively seamless to bounce between those three types of combat.
That's good then.
So that's kind of lining up with what you're thinking. I mean,
it'll be interesting to see if they have any like quote unquote cinematic combat moments that you can kind of pull off.
You mean like a QTE type thing, or
like maybe they're like stunned for a moment, you have to press a button, and then like I guess a quick time kind of. Like maybe a quick time event, or even like just something like where if you happen to press like the right combo of buttons or something, like you do like a small cinematic slow-mo shot or something to finish an enemy off. Like, some of the stereotypical like web person with both arms, like pull yourself towards them, like backflip off of them, and maybe like slow-mo for a moment, but I don't know.
So there are slow-mo moments. That was also in the interview that when you're doing something super cool, it'll go slow it'll slow.
I'm guessing I'm guessing probably for some of the Spidey sense stuff too, you'll probably have a bit of slow-mo for that, depending on how they incorporate the Spidey sense.
The one scenario, one of the people that played it from the Game Informer trip, they talked about every time their spider sense would go off, they had a couple of options of what they could do, and usually what they would do is web zip away from wherever that was into an attack on a different enemy. So it's a lot of crowd control kind of stuff, right? You'll be surrounded, outnumbered.
So kind of like there was some of that in Arkham City, not Arkham City, Arkham Knight. Some of those kind of elements, like when you would get spotted, there would be a small slow-mo time where you could make a quick decision. If I remember correctly.
So. I'm guessing there's going to be some similarities drawn to the Arkham games. I think you can't help but do that, right?
Yeah.
Except the combat style's got to be different because that slow, brutal style is not
don't work for Spider-Man. That's not what Spider-Man does.
Right. So I think there will be some similarities, but I think there will be enough differences that it doesn't feel like, hey, I've played this game before.
Yeah. It'd be kind of interesting to see sort of like how Peter interacts with his opponents and stuff like that. Just to see like what kind of comments he makes and stuff, even with just like the general population, like the general thugs that you'll probably find around doing things, like a random encounter, like if an Infamous you were to like drop on a group of thugs or something like that,
right?
See how he kind of interacts with them.
I'm kind of expecting it to be very Infamous-esque.
And I was also and as far as like how he interacts with it, I'm kind of thinking a bit like Uncharted, even though that's a different development studio. I kind of expect sort of the same kind of like live interaction that Uncharted has with some of its characters, because that seems like something very Spider-Man-esque.
Oh,
way
you're
that
talking
Peter-
like the dialogue, the random quips or dialogue stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
It'd be interesting. I don't know that there's ever a companion in the game. You know, we never hear
Yeah.
anything about that. We do know you can play at, there's parts where you play as Peter, there's parts where you play as Spider-Man, obviously,
right.
and there's parts where you play as Mary Jane,
Hmm.
who does in this universe at this time know you are Spider-Man. No
Okay.
indication of whether they are currently in a relationship or not.
Right.
So yeah, I've got pretty big expectations for this game. As a matter of fact, I did something I never do, ever.
Got on the hype train.
Oh well, that was reluctantly telling you that, but I'll do that even from time to time. There are 3 editions of this game. There is the standard edition, which is your regular $60 game, both in a soft copy, which most people refer to as digital, and a hard copy, shiny disc in the retail store. There is a digital deluxe edition, which is $79, I think, which comes with extra stuff. Then there's a physical collector's edition, which comes with a lot of stuff. Happens to retail for approximately $150. Let's just say I had one of the things I love about I know a lot of people don't like Best Buy, but Best Buy does have a pretty awesome thing called the Gamers Club Unlocked, which gives you 20% off of all things video game related. Definitely games, new or used, sometimes hardware. It's kind of iffy there. But yeah, that knocked $30 off the top. I had $35 worth of reward certificates for Best Buy. And I had $20 in credit sitting in my PayPal account, which got it down to a reasonable enough amount that I pre-ordered the physical collector's edition.
Were there any gift cards included in any of this, or
no? The reward certificates,
right.
But no, yeah, that
got
it down. That got it down almost to a regular retail purchase. So
that's not bad then.
That's not bad. Yeah. So there's that. So yeah, we'll probably not do an unboxing because I find unboxing videos intolerable, but unless somebody really, really begs me to do one.
I'll just see it when I come over.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. So that'll be interesting. I haven't gotten something like that in forever. Yeah. I think the last time I did something like that was Resistance 2, where I got it came with a Chimera figure, which kind of sucked because it wouldn't hold on to its rifle, and then the game sucked. So I really regretted it. Okay, sucked is maybe an overstatement, but it wasn't what I was expecting after the first game. Let's put it that way. So yeah, wow, talked a lot about Spider-Man, but yeah, the big deal. This is a big game exclusive for PlayStation. That that's one of the things that they've really been touting is exclusive titles that have been on there, or whether they're timed or forever exclusives. This should be a forever exclusive. But yeah, big fan of Spider-Man, big fan of Insomniac. I really like Yuri's work. So far, nothing showing that's going to slow this game down at all. Again, understand not all games are for everyone. So if you know that this is not the type of game you're going to want to like, it's perfectly fine. Don't feel pressured to buy something you don't know you're not going to like coming out the gate. But if you like fun, you should be excited for this game. I'm kidding. Well, let's see. What other news do we have sitting around here that we can blabber about for a few more minutes before we put this puppy to bed? Let's see. After we stopped talking last week, Sean Murray of Hello Games, of, depending on how you look at it, No Man's Sky fame or notoriety, tweeted that the next expansion for the game is coming soon. It's called Next. And it is going to be the biggest update yet, which I think they've all been sequentially. And at the same time is the Xbox One version of the game is finally coming in 4K HDR. So Xbox One version will come with all of the previous expansions, including Next. Anyone who owns the game currently will get Next for free, as has been their policy with all their expansions. I have not gotten on the No Man's Sky hype train in a while. I always enjoyed it more than, well, I enjoyed it more than a lot of people did. I'm a little miffed that all these like alliance things are out there. I don't know why. That just really feels counter to me in the game, and I want to go in there and I just want to destroy all their stuff. But I don't think that's possible. So I do want to get back into this game. I do want to finish the Atlas storyline because mine bugged out and I never got to finish it. And I'm hoping one of these updates resets it so that I can actually finish it. And then get around to just doing all the weird and wild and geeky stuff. I'd like to own a freighter. I think owning a mobile home base would be cool. I'm not so much on the land-based building, but that could be fun too. I really want to see the stuff. I want to play the game again, and I just can't make the time. So anything on No Man's Sky that you're thinking?
I would like to get back into it too. It's just with everything else that comes out, and there's all kinds of other games that exist out there, it just kind of gets lost under the waves, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, that's my problem. I'm not one of those that can just stick with a game forever, for good or for ill. It is frustrating.
I mean, heck, I have games on my computer right now that are kind of like that right now. Subnautica is one of those that I want to get back to, which is kind of along the same vein as No Man's Sky, just not quite as big as No Man's Sky is.
Yeah. In comic news, the Fantastic Four is coming back to comics this August. We've known that was probably coming with where they've been pointing stuff at recently. It is coming courtesy of Dan Slott, who has been on Spider-Man forever. He is finally stepping off of Spider-Man this summer with their mix-up, and he'll be taking on the role of the First Family. And the artist on the series will be Sarah Pacelli, who is an awesome artist. Hope she can do some really good stuff with this. She has a very nice dynamic style. She was the original artist on the Miles Morales oh gosh, I'm going to screw this up now. It was Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure she was the Miles Morales version. So, and it was, it's amazing. Everything I've seen her draw, other than it has been pretty awesome. So, looking forward to seeing that. I know Dan Slott's kind of a love him or leave him guy for some folks. I don't know if I just got used to it or if he genuinely did good for me in Amazing Spider-Man, but I really ended up digging most of what he did there. And I think he writes really good dialogue. So I think, especially for a group like the Fantastic Four, which when I say the Fantastic Four, I mean Reed, Johnny, Sue, and Ben. Just, that dynamic. So yeah. Is that a book you have any interest in at all, Mitchell?
I don't know. It's a harder one for me to get into because I just don't know that much about them, and I don't have as big an interest in them. I know the basics about them. Like Johnny Storm is not gonna. Johnny Storm is Johnny Storm.
Yes, that's true. Yes, he's Sue's brother, and Sue's married to Reed, and cosmic rays and all that jazz.
Flaming Man.
Johnny Storm is not the original Human Torch. The original Human Torch was an android. One of those things. It's kind of the golden age, silver age type deals for like DC.
You were correct. It was Miles Morales' version of Ultimate Spider-Man. She was.
I thought so. I didn't think she was in during the Peter Parker time, but I couldn't say that for certain. Mark Bagley was for most, if not all of that.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah,
Spider-Gwen.
she's done a lot. Let's just leave it
Yeah.
at that. We don't want to list it all off. But yeah, a lot of spider characters, a lot of action based comics. So yeah, again, a very good dynamic style that'll play well to the different powers of the Fantastic Four. Twitch had a bunch of layoffs so that they can make more money. So basically they sound like any publicly traded company these days. Got it.
Wait, so did it like cut streamers' pay, or like how does that work?
It wasn't really specific exactly. Let me bring the article back up here.
That's okay. I was just doing it with curiosity. Like, who exactly do they fire?
I think it's from within the Twitch studios and community marketing teams, including several high-profile employees who have been with the company since Twitch began. So it was all internal. It's not streamers. It's
right.
internal people, support people. People who don't make money directly. So companies like to fire those kinds of people because then they can say they're going to make more money because they're not spending money on these people who aren't directly making the money. That's a discussion for another time.
Yep.
6 months after the release, Shadow of War, which is the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, removes its microtransactions, which, as I understand it, weren't really a hurdle anyway, but apparently were affecting the game enough that the company decided to pull them, the real money transactions. So if you've enjoyed the game before and haven't had the temptation to spend real money was just too much, so you stop playing, you can go back now because there's no temptation to spend real money anymore.
Fair enough.
There's a cool picture of a box full of toy swords with a note on it that says, "You must scream, there can be only one to handle these swords. Thank you for your understanding." That's pretty awesome. And you haven't seen Highlander either, have you?
Nope.
I've totally failed you in your movie going experiences.
Hey, you remedied one of those at least.
Yeah, there's only 3,000 more to get to.
So if we want conversation topics, is how much do we want to buffer the showtime?
Why?
Because we could talk about what games we're looking forward to in general for this upcoming year.
No,
That's a lot.
we can hit that up for next week. It'll
Right,
probably be this will probably be your crew next week too. Just heads up. So yeah.
So if you want to see more of my lovely face,
as long as you can make it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might just be me. Hopefully, I'll be looking less sick next time. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? So there was an incident in at YouTube's headquarters yesterday.
Oh goodness. Ooh, did they fix things? My YouTube is still whacked.
No, there was a active shooter incident in the headquarters.
Maybe that's why my YouTube is whacked. Maybe a server got hit.
Oh no, I don't know. It wasn't in the technical center. It wasn't in the servers or anything. There were 3 injuries, 1 fatality. The fatality was the shooter. Appears, she was not an employee. She was not a former employee. She was a streamer who had a grievance with the company and to have decided that was the way to deal with it. Was a fatality of the shooter from a self-inflicted. So to those who are affected by this and whatnot, we we have sympathies, and just sucks that stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Was the shooter a high profile type person or?
No, we can talk about that more later. I don't know how much we want to. But yeah,
kind of sucks that things like that happen.
Yeah, it was because of a perception of the manipulation of the of channel traffic, whether real or imagined, I don't know. So,
right.
This War of Mine is currently free on Steam through April 8th. So as of today, you have 4 more days to get it. I was not a huge fan of the game personally, but you can't beat the price.
What's it called?
This War of Mine.
It says it's $6.
Oh, this was Game Informer, so I assumed it wasn't lying to me.
Oh, no, wait. Yes, play for free. Ends in 3 days. Okay, we're good.
Okay. So, all right. It's a stealth collection survival game set in a
Let's see.
war-torn European country.
Survival war, atmospheric, single player indie.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
In this war of mine, you do not play as an elite soldier, rather a group of civilians trying to survive in a besieged city, struggling with lack of food, medicine, and constant danger from snipers and hostile scavengers. This game provides an experience of war seen from an entirely new angle.
Yes, and it's not easy.
Oh,
That's
goody.
not why I didn't like it, but it's pretty tough. You can get starved and dead or shotted pretty easily.
Am I gonna get angry?
Hence the stealth element. The PC version of Chrono Trigger, which has gotten pretty bashed since its release, is getting an update in the form of a retro graphics mode, so you can have the sprites and stuff look like they did in the original Super Nintendo release. Which
They changed the graphics?
apparently I didn't know that. That was, I guess, another reason to dislike it, aside from being a bad port of a mobile version. There's been a lot of hints that a Spyro redo trilogy is on the way, similar to potentially many of the other redos, whether it's a straight HG upgrade like the original Ratchet and Clanks and the Sly Coopers, or if it's a complete redo similar to Crash Bandicoot. We don't know yet, but there's been a lot of stuff getting shipped out to review publications and stuff that seem to indicate that this is on the way.
You say Chrono Trigger, right?
What? Chrono Trigger? The was the one before Spyro. Yeah.
Yeah. On Steam, it looks the same. Oh well, who knows?
Didn't get it because I heard it was horrible, so I didn't waste my time. If you're old like me, you may remember a game for the PC called Seventh Guest. Had a little well-known. Seventh Guest was pretty popular. Its sequel, 11th Hour, I don't think very many people played. And now, apparently, there is a fully licensed fan-made sequel called 13th Doll. Now, I don't know if this is the same sequel that we've heard off and on about for quite some time, but it has a trailer planned for a release of October 31st. Surprise, surprise. So that might be a thing you're interested in. Might be a thing I'm interested in, but I'm guessing probably not. Seventh Guest was during that PC era where they were superimposing FMV onto CG backgrounds. So you had actual people playing the ghosts, who are the only characters that you interacted with, which you didn't really actually interact with, really, as you tried to solve the mystery of the mansion and the Seventh Guest. I really enjoyed Seventh Guest, but I don't know that I'll drop any coin for this. Your mileage may vary. I think we mentioned something about a game about this unknown character that we don't really know anything about called Spider-Man. I don't really know anything about that guy. Sounds. Who wants a hero that's a spider? That's a bad guy. Apparently September 7th, developed by this unknown studio called Insomniac Games. I don't know what's going on.
Took all your money.
Take all my money. Shut up and take my money.
They took all your money.
Yeah, if not for stuffs. Something interesting. The only platform this game doesn't exist on, it's finally going to exist on. Slime Rancher is finally coming to PlayStation 4.
I have that on my computer. But you did in 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
No, I haven't gotten through the Rainbow Desert yet, all the way through, because it's a pain in the bum.
Okay. So the PlayStation 4 is like literally the only platform this game does not exist for yet. It will be a physical form for the first time this fall for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, as well as soft versions. Soft versions are currently available for Xbox One, PC, Mac, and Linux or Linux, depending on your preference of the pronunciation of that operating system.
It's on Steam.
That too. That would be the PC part.
Yep.
So, I don't remember if you guys have ever watched this movie or not. If I don't, I think you have. So please tell me I did not fail you on this one. There's a movie from the late 80s called The Last Starfighter. I can't see your face, so I can't tell if you're reacting or not.
I'm thinking.
Oh, gosh.
The Last Starfire?
The Last Starfighter.
Starfighter. I can't say I have.
Oh, man. Teenager in a trailer lot that plays a video game obsessively called The Last Starfighter.
Yeah. Okay, that movie.
Pretty sure I had shown it.
I see it. The details are hazy, but
very 80s. Very much loved by many a geek who grew up in that time frame.
Because what happens is he plays the game, and then the game actually turned out to be a recruitment program for people, and then he gets flying up and meets up with an alien.
Yeah, that would be the one. Spoiler alerts for a really old movie. So a gentleman by the name of Gary Whitta, who is the screenwriter behind Rogue One and The Book of Eli, which you've seen one of those two movies. I've seen both of them.
Yes.
Announced today on Twitter that he has been working with Jonathan Boutel, I believe is how you pronounce that, who was the original screenwriter for 1984. I thought it was later than that. Okay. Well, a little bit of mid 80s then. Movie, The Last Starfighter. And is working on a reboot / sequel. Not exactly sure if it's more reboot or more sequel. It's still in development hell. The original author does retain some rights to the original story, but doesn't have everything. So they're still working with Universal and all the other holders to try to figure out if there's anything they can do. It is a great movie, but it is very 80s. I mean, it is very, very, very 80s. Not something that you would typically want to redo. They might try to redo it in a BSG, which is the modern Battlestar Galactica, take and make it something in that form. Will they try to do something that's more true to the 80s style? Not sure. They worked with a gentleman named Matt Alsop, who was a lead concept artist on Rogue One. I'm assuming other things as well, to do some black and white concepts that he shared on Twitter. They look amazing. The fighter looks like what you remember the fighter looking like. The stuff looks great, but again, this is not something that's new. Or not something that's soon, I should say, rather, right? This is not something that's going to be happening like tomorrow. You're not. Right. There's a way. Yeah, this is a ways off if it's ever going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And also today we found out that hot off the heels of Ready Player One's relatively good success, Universal has ordered a script, which is not the same as a movie, but is ordered a script for the author's not sequel, but sequel. It's not a sequel to Ready Player One, but it's his next book called Armada. Armada is generally, if you liked Ready Player One, you don't like Armada, and if you didn't like Ready Player One, you tend to like Armada more. Seems to be the way things go. Mark and Dave are resident Ready Player One obsessive love people, hate pretty much Armada. So not super thrilled on their front. But apparently there are some similarities there between that and The Last Starfighter. So there's a potential to have two similar style movies potentially coming out about the same time. Terra, the free MMO we talked about for a few weeks back, is alive on PS4 and Xbox One. It is free to play. It is also apparently broken and incomplete. So if you feel like jumping in early on that, you can go ahead. It is also free to play on PC. So if you're on that platform, it's been on there for quite a while now. So you're a ways behind. but your mileage may vary. It's fun, but broken essentially is the kind of the consensus. I didn't have a lot of fun necessarily in the beta. It was pretty straightforward and seemed pretty simple. The most fun part was I made a kick-ass badger raccoon warrior. That was probably the coolest thing. Dragon Ball Fighters. I see spell correct. I see spell check caught me on that when I posted this earlier. I'll have to see if I can edit that. Anyway, if you have Dragon Ball Fighters and you want 300,000 free Zenny, which is the in-game currency, log in like yesterday, because it sounds like there are you can get, as soon as you log in, you get 300,000 free Zenny. We don't know how long this is going to last for, so this could expire tomorrow. It could expire in a month. We don't know, but I would say log in sooner rather than later, because that's probably not going to last forever. And then we come to now, where we are talking about Gamersledge Podcast, episode 282. Spider-Man does everything a spider can. Spins web and catch thieves just like flies. And I'm probably going to get a copyright strike just for my horrible rendition of that. So that takes
it's shorter than 10 seconds. We're good.
Well, that's what they say. I don't know. I don't believe them anymore. I don't trust anything they say. So let's see. We've got coming out soon. This month, the biggest thing I am aware of off the top of my head is God of War. That comes out later this month. The review embargo drops on the 12th, so 8 days from now. The game actually comes out on the 24th, I believe. Yes, 24th. So that's a 12-day lead from the embargo, from the reviews dropping to the game dropping. That seems to indicate that Sony and Santa Monica Studios believe that they've got something pretty good on their hands, that they're going to be able to carry through 12 days of review cycle and news leading up to actual drop date. So it's a game I'm very intrigued by. It's not a game I'm going to be jumping on day one, but very intrigued by it. I appreciate the deepening of the story, because I really didn't. There's a lot of things I didn't like about the old God of War games, so it'll be interesting to see. It sounds like the combat's more mature. It sounds like the storyline is actually a storyline as opposed to a straw man. So that's all good for me. So we'll have to see where that goes. Anyway, I guess that brings us to, unless you have any last minute reattacks.
Nope, nothing I can think of.
All right. I guess that will bring us then to final thoughts. Mitchell, do you have any final thoughts for our
Final thoughts. I'm really looking forward to the re-release of The World Ends With You, which I'm gonna hopefully get back to and finish that, because I'm pretty sure I have the DS version with me. So I'm gonna try and finish that or get back into it. And yeah, looking forward to that. I don't currently own a Switch, but this guy does. So have to borrow that from him not to bring it here, but when I'm there, for over the summer and stuff. But gaming is good. So is watching movies. Go see Ready Player One. It's a good movie. That's all I got. You?
Let's see. Don't get sick. It sucks being sick. Even if it does keep you, home from work because you slept for, the majority of the last 48 hours. Not saying that yeah, I've been asleep most of the last 48 hours. But it's the best way to heal. That is your body's healing cycle. So if you are sick, do rest, because that's how you get better. At least a significant part of it. I'm really just trying to figure out a way to up my game time. That when I say that I played those games that I played other than Wolfenstein, I mean like 20 minutes tops of each.
Right.
So we're not the one.
We're not talking heavy.
Uh-oh. Somebody went goo. Are you back?
You slowed down for a bit.
The internets do not like us, folks. Hopefully you're still able to hear me. Hello? You're moving again.
I can still hear you.
Oh, okay, you can still hear me. Okay. Video
Yeah,
feeds.
I can still hear you and you're moving. I'm moving.
Okay. All right.
It probably doesn't help that one of my roommates is playing Overwatch in the other room on the same internet. Yeah.
Well, unless your wired connection has dropped significantly since the last time I saw your data rates, you should be fine.
Since they bumped the wired, I can't hardwire into it. Since they messed with the internet, I can't hardwire in anymore because the difference between that port and whatever they changed the system to, I can't hook up hardwire, but and I'm not hardwired to the router he has in his room, so I'm wireless right now. So I'll just have to figure it out sometime.
Okay, yeah, talk to your IT guy because that doesn't seem right.
We don't actually have like a resident IT guy, which is kind of silly, but
we'll
figure it out.
Someone's got to be running that con closet.
Someone's got the connection. Someone knows the people to contact for this kind of thing. So
right, so you put in a trouble ticket that says your network drops don't work anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Anyway, so sorry, yeah. a little side conversation there. Don't get sick. If you are sick, rest. Yes, that's my tip for the day. And then just trying to figure out how to play video games because time is my enemy, and so is age apparently. But if you have time and money and ability, that's a rare combination in your life that you'll have. So treasure that time. Or learn to like mobile games, which I just physically cannot do because I tried that new Marvel one and I just can't do it. Yeah, I have a sealed Vita memory card that I just found. So if anybody wants a 4 gig Vita card, don't contact me because I don't want to deal with it. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I guess I got nothing. Apologies. I really want to start reading again. I can't figure out how to work any of this stuff into my schedule. So it's very frustrating. And here I am podcasting. I could be doing any of those other things, but I'm here for you, the viewer. Right now there are 0.
They just watch it afterwards, right?
Yeah. Why do we live stream? Yeah. Nobody watches things live. Other than that's the only way I can record this with multiple people. Anyway, that's not entirely true. I lied, but without some finagling, it's the easiest way.
Right.
So anyway, I guess that brings us to the end of the show. Please do all that stuff with the liking and subscribing and plussing and all that jazz that when people hate people that ask to do. So do it if you like. Don't do it if you don't want to. Please send any comments or critiques to balt@gamersledge.com. I still need to get him to send me stuff. I do not have any reader mail. Don't know if that's because we haven't gotten any or because he isn't getting it to me because I don't have access to that account. You can find us at gamersledge.com, Facebook, look for Gamersledge. You can leave us comments there. You can leave comments on this video, which will be on YouTube on the Gamersledge channel. You can just scream to the skies and hope one of us hears your plea for what it is you'd like us to talk about or do, unless it's stop, because can't stop, won't stop. So until next week,
until next week,
game on.
Game on.